This segment of Dirt Diggler's Shitty Sports Show was brought to you by ESPN. We picked your idols for you. Remember Tim Tebow? You do now.
Warning. Pregnant women, the elderly, and children under 16 should avoid prolonged exposure to Dirt Diggler. Dirt Diggler may suddenly accelerate to dangerous speeds. Dirt Diggler has high gluten content and is not kosher, halal, or vegan safe. Do not ingest Dirt Diggler, as Dirt Diggler is for external use only. Discontinue listening to Dirt Diggler if any of the following occurs: itching, vertigo, dizziness, discoloration of urine, tingling in extremities, loss of balance or coordination, slurred speech, temporary blindness, profuse sweating, heart palpitations, increased use of profanity. If listening to Dirt Diggler gives you an erection lasting longer than 4 hours, you're welcome. Listening to Dirt Diggler may lead to unplanned pregnancies. If Dirt Diggler begins to smoke, get away immediately. Seek shelter and cover head. Dirt Diggler may stick to certain types of skin. When not in use, Dirt Diggler should be returned to a special container and kept under refrigeration. The ingredients of Dirt Diggler include, but are not limited to, a glowing substance which fell to the earth, presumably from outer space, and bad memories. Do not taunt Dirt Diggler. Dirt Diggler does not come with a lifetime guarantee. Dirt Diggler. Enjoy the show.
Extra heat.
All right, what's going on? It is the Dirt Diggler, the dirtiest Diggler that's ever Diggler for Dirt Cut
That's
Diggler.
right,
And with me
bitches.
to my left, as always, I have.
Kenny the Dork, unapologetically New England.
And welcome to the season 4?
Season 4.
Season 4 premiere for
Yeah.
Dirt Diggler's Shitty Sports Show, where things are even more shitty than you could possibly imagine.
And only a little bit more salt than usual.
Well, you know, yeah. So we took an extended amount of time off, as one does, and recently we had the NFL draft go down from Thursday into yesterday, Saturday.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of things that happened. But before we get into the bones of... Actually, we're going to say that the draft was like the beginning of the new season for us.
Yes.
Beginning of the show season, right? Because now there's something of consequence to talk about. We could talk about free agency moves, right? We could talk about that.
Yeah.
But really, nobody really fucks it up until the draft.
No.
So we're going to use the draft as the marker for when a new season of the show kicks off. And of course, we still track hockey and baseball and all the other...
And basketball.
The other sports and shit. But really, we're more of a football show, to be honest.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is Steve Keim's going to hate my guts by the end of this show.
Hey, man, it's what it is, dude. It's what it is. So before we get into the details, of course, let's catch up on things that have been and things that were since our last recording. So in the Diggler household, I have a senior D1 who's getting ready for prom. Yeah, yep.
Wow.
Mrs. Diggler and I celebrated 19 years of matrimony.
Yes.
Matrimonial bliss. Yesterday, we had our 19th anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. I have D2, who's turning 15 in 2 days.
Wow.
On Tuesday. She's a big 1-5. Bring Your Kid to Work Day has come and gone. I took D3 into work, and everybody was like, oh, she's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Oh, good Lord.
She's my kid. So, yeah, we're fully aware of her amazing goodness.
Hey.
And other than that, it's really just been the typical rigmarole of just, surviving.
There was that whole 40s for 40.
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about that yet. We haven't done a show since that.
No,
Oh,
we
shit,
have
yeah,
not.
I have my 40th. And so we did 40s for 40.
Great time.
We did 40 for 40. And I had people come from fucking Los Angeles, Texas, New Mexico, Florida. I mean, folks from all over the country came in. Friends from as far back as freshman year of high school. Folks from my time in Okinawa, my time at Lejeune. Folks from what I met in Afghanistan. I mean, it was an amazing time.
Yeah.
But the theme of the party was 40s for 40, right? Let's remember, 20-something years ago when we were poor fucking kids, didn't have shit, how amazing a 40 ounce was for us.
Oh, yeah.
So we had 3 varieties of malt liquor. We had Colt 45, Old English, which comes in plastic bottles now, which I did not see coming.
I mean, I kind of could because,
Well,
don't use them as weapons.
Well, the Colt 45 was still in glass, and so was the St. Ides, which was one of my personal favorites from back in the day.
That messed me up.
Yeah, so several people who had never had a 40 had their first 40s,
Including Lady Dork.
and they were quite pleased with it. And I'm like,
Yep.
This is what we drank, and just wait till tomorrow.
Oh, good Lord, yeah. Ouch.
But my brother James Martinez, who's a Cowboys fan, but he's a good person on top of all that. He's a great guy.
Right.
He hit the cycle, man. He had one of each. He had 340s that night. He was fucking partying.
Yeah, I could understand why.
And I tip my cap to that brother right there, because there's no way in God's green earth.
Do we have a post-game update on him?
Well, we went to Philly the next day, and to be honest with you, he was fucking hurting, but you wouldn't have known, because he
wasn't
really
gonna let on.
Yeah, he didn't let on. So I gotta give him that. He not only did he party extraordinarily hard the night prior, which was the goal. He went out and did drove a couple hours up to Philly with me, and we did the tourist thing. And had a great time, and we were none the wiser to the fact that he might have been dying a little bit on the inside from that hangover. So kudos to James Martinez for playing that. So I didn't know how bad off he was, like the end of that day or the next day. He was like, "Yeah, I was fucking hurting yesterday." I was like, "Really?" Because you drank like 340s. Like,
he powered that.
He was fucking crushing them too,
dude. Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those where I was like, I don't want to look inadequate, not keeping up with the rest of your friends, but at the same time, somebody got to drive.
Yeah, look, it's what it is, man. Look, everyone had a good time. There were no DUIs or arrests or anything. So to me, a successful party. Yeah. Thanks for Daniel and Charlie for hosting us and putting up that venue. That was amazing. I want to give you guys a personalized shout out on the show again, because you guys really came through with that venue. We really appreciated it. It was an amazing time. The food was good. The company was good. My D2 roasted me into oblivion. I almost caught the cops.
Oh my God, dude!
I almost caught the cops.
I was cringing. I was like, I couldn't come up with anything, I was just like, I was happy to take a back seat to her. I mean, I couldn't come up with anything on the mic. You put me on the spot on the mic, I'm going to fail miserably every time. Yeah. I mean, I had the best non-spoken burn of the night, I think.
This dickhead. This fucking dickhead gets me a Super Bowl 39 fucking Eagles winner hat. Like, he somehow found one of the hats they made if the Eagles would have won that game, and he found it and bought it for me, which, that takes a lot of effort, but that was a dick move, so I can appreciate all the energy put behind that. But yeah, that was a really, really a solid middle finger there. I gotta give you kudos. I need to find one for Super Bowl 52 for you,
or 42 if you really want to get mean.
No.
52, huh?
52, because the Eagles beat you guys.
Oh, okay.
So it would be more of the same.
I mean, 42 hurts more.
42 does hurt, but 52 for me. That's when I came.
Yeah, okay.
Because we won. So, but she jumped in my ass, man, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, where the fuck did this come from?
Like, wow. I mean, it was all part laughter and part shock.
I was really just trying to laugh it off, but deep down inside, I kind of wanted to cry a little bit. I was like, oh my gosh, she's killing me here, guys.
Dude, she put you in a body bag.
Is no one gonna defend me?
I was too much in shock.
I was like, oh my god.
I was stunned by what I was hearing.
No, she really nailed it down, and I'm really proud of her ability to go out there and roast the shit out of me for a couple of reasons. One, she was standing at a microphone in front of a bunch of adults who had been drinking at the tender age of 14, and she had complete control over that crowd. So,
oh God, yeah.
So I tip my cap, because that's some anxiety-inducing shit for a lot of people to speak publicly,
present company included.
And she fucking nailed it. And so you have that, and then the fact that she was able to roast me so well.
Oh my
so we
God.
had to ask, were you planning on this? And she was like, no, that was all off the cuff. So now I'm like, well, that's super dangerous that you have the ability to just fucking do this off the cuff, which once again I applaud, because that takes a lot of thinking on your feet to really come up with confidence to come up with that kind of material and just go with it. It seemed like she rehearsed it. It seemed really natural, like this is what she does. But honestly, I shouldn't expect anything less from my children, because they're my kids and this is what we do.
Yeah.
So
dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
She smote me that day. I was but a shell of myself.
She smoked you worse than drill instructors on Paris
Man,
Island.
she fucking killed the shit out of me, dude. But like I said, look, I was proud of her, and I just can't wait until she gets a little older and I get to roast her a little bit, because I got all the receipts.
Oh, you ready? You're gonna have a whole Bible full of stuff ready on her wedding day.
To be honest with you, man, I'm certainly proud of all my children, man.
Yeah.
She's something special, man. She sold the Baltimore Crab artwork.
She did.
She sold it. Yeah, she sold it for $80, and I think 20% of all profits from it.
Huh.
Yeah, a mutual friend was going to use it for merchandise, for hats and T-shirts, things like that, which I think is hilarious. But yeah, that's the plan. So she's making moves, man. I'm just here to watch.
Dang.
I'm just here to watch. So that's what's been going on with the Diggler household. You know, it's I'd say it's just every day is every day, but there are some pretty cool shit that goes down.
Hey, man, it sounds like you got a lot of great things going on.
There are quite a few great things going on. So what's going on with the dorks?
Dorkland. Well, hey, we attended your 40s for 40. And
You
had
were
a
there.
Great time.
Yeah, a certain lady dork had her first 40 and was pretty excited about that.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, so excited that, she wanted to take some home. We have not touched those, by the way.
I have more if you want them.
I didn't know. No, we're good.
Please. Please.
Respectfully, no.
Damn it. I'll mail them to you.
And we're more of a craft beer household. Sorry. But, so yeah, exciting things. Took Lady Dork to Fenway Park for the first time.
I think I saw the pictures of that. You guys had a blast. She was pretty well received by Fenway.
Oh, yeah.
Being an O's fan, yeah.
Well, she networks better than anybody I know. I mean, it's amazing to watch her in action.
That's great.
Yeah, and then not only that, that day was Marathon Monday, and Boston Marathon goes through Boston for Patriots Day, is what they officially call it in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a rain out, but then we noticed, hey, it looks like there's going to be a 3-hour window where they could possibly get the game in.
Oh, nice.
So I bought tickets, really cheap.
Oh, sweet.
The day of, we went up. We went to Boston, and it actually turned out to be a beautiful day.
Good.
We saw a little bit of the marathon happening. We watched the Orioles beat the Red Sox.
Woo!
Chris Davis hit a home run.
Wait, the Chris Davis who almost set the
He did set that record, by the way.
No, wait,
0 for 54.
I think he did it for his team. I don't think he did it for the league. There was like still 7 or 8.
Yeah, no. Well,
At-bats he had
let's
to
put
get.
it this way: he got his batting average got over 100 that day.
How much money is he making?
$23 million
Outstanding.
a year.
Outstanding.
But yeah, so I mean, but then from there, we visited, the dorks of New England.
The dorks of the House of Dorks.
Yeah, House Dork of New England.
Nice.
Yes, we bounced. Like we had a day with my brother.
The Connecticut Dorksworth.
The Connecticut Dorksworth, the Rhode Island Dorksworth.
No, very nice, very nice.
Yes. As well, we spent the day with them. Hanging out at the aquariums and taking them all over. I took her to the largest casino in North America.
Holy shit! Really?
Foxwoods. Yeah.
The largest casino in North America is
Yes.
not in Las Vegas.
It's in Connecticut, tucked away in the woods.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
some pretty cool
I was
trivia.
I was impressed by it too. But anyway, and then we went back when we came back down here. We went to Chincoteague Island.
Oh, yeah, I saw the pictures
Wild
of that.
ponies.
Looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Did not step in horse crap, thankfully.
Amazing.
And even funnier, significant thing. Lady Dork's father referred to me as her future son-in-law in public.
Oh.
I mean, I haven't even proposed yet.
Well,
Yeah. So I guess is my future son-in-law.
yeah. That's always nice.
Hey, it's nice to know he holds me in that esteem.
It really is because he didn't grit his teeth and say it like
Nah.
if he could shoot you he would. It was,
No, he likes me.
So that's
I was pretty excited to hear that.
There's nothing wrong with being liked by the by the dad.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good here. Hi, honey.
Yeah.
But so things are going good, and I'm ready to get season 4 rolling.
Yeah, dude. So let's talk about the hometown shit. Oh, whoa, the schedule. We have to go over the schedule.
The schedule,
The schedule, sir. So, of course, we just went over what the fuck we've been up to, and now, so as usual, we do our hometown happening. What's going on in our respective sports towns with that aren't football related. We're gonna go over the NFL draft, our takes, some fallout, and things like that.
Teams.
Yep, we're gonna discuss where our teams are now post draft. We're gonna talk about the NHL playoffs, the NBA playoffs. And then we're going to get into our shitty beer of the week and our super shitty hot takes. So, without further ado, let's get into these hometown happenings. Now, my team, the Flyers for the NHL, did not make the playoffs this year as well as they should not have. They got eliminated a few games before the end of the season, and they totally fucking deserved it. Since then, the manager has been fired. The coach has been fired. He's gone. They got a new one in there. And they're probably going to make some moves when it comes to talent, which is to be expected. So, the Flyers had a solid roster. They just couldn't put it all together. The East, with the exception of Tampa, right? was. I mean, we could talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get into the Lightning there.
But outside of Tampa, the East was really looking kind of wide open, and the Flyers couldn't take advantage of it. The Phils were able to nab Bryce Harper in free agency, and he's a hell of a signing. And he's done well.
Flip, though.
Oh my God, he had the most disrespectful bat flip I'd ever witnessed in real time against the Nats. Because so he goes to Washington, where he played previously, and they reacted as scorned lovers do. And so he racked off a homer after striking out a couple times, and he just chucked his bat. It was a pretty disrespectful bat flip. I liked it because nothing says. I mean, Philadelphia is probably the town that embraces the whole double middle fingers thing better than anybody else. Really.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's what we do. It's what we and I'm cool with it, and it's sincere. Which
right.
That's and Bryce Harper really embodied that, which is why he's going to do well in Philly. However, Bryce Harper's a fiery guy. He's a hothead. So he's gotten tossed from a few games, and Jake Arrieta is also a hothead.
Right.
Pitcher Jake Arrieta called him out and said, "Hey, look, we need you out in the field. You can't help us if you're in the locker room because you got tossed. So we need you. You basically get your shit together, get all your shit, put it in a bag, take it to the shit store or whatever it is you do. Just get your shit together. Get your shit together, Bryce, because we need you to play in the game. We're paying you to win games. You can't win games if you're getting tossed. So
hello,
there was a little fucking like, I can't believe he said that. But in all reality, it's the manager's job to get tossed from games, right? Because Kapler can go out there and get in our ump's face and get tossed. That's not your job, Bryce.
Yeah.
Go out there, hit, field. You can feel passion, do all the other weird shit the fucking athletes do, but getting tossed doesn't help anybody.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm with Jake on this one. I agree with Jake Arrieta. You need to be in the game. You're too good and getting paid too much to be getting tossed for arbitrary shit.
Yeah.
You're made. Everyone knows who the fuck you are. You're not some guy looking to make a name for himself. You are known. So I agree with Jake. Now on to the Sixers.
Yeah, your pride and joy.
They're doing pretty good right now. So they had the first round game 1 loss against the Nets in Philly, and everyone was like, oh, "What's going on in Philly?" And then they probably came out and won the next 4 games and put the Nets in the trash can where they belonged. Embiid was a goddamn nuisance, even though he didn't play all the games. He only played about 2 or 3 of them. He didn't play all the games. Ben Simmons, despite his lack of jumper, which they made fun of, by the way.
Really?
Oh yeah. They had a sign posted out in front of the stadium out at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn that said "Missing Ben Simmons' outside game." What's his name? Chris Dudley. What's that guy's name? Was it Dudley? Either way, the nobody they had defending him said he was average, and they took exception to that and promptly went and abused the fuck out of that guy.
Yeah,
which is what you do.
They should.
Which is what you do if you have a fucking third stringer running his jibs. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So the Sixers stuffed him in the trash can. The Nets are back to the drawing board. D'Angelo Hall did well for like 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
And then he couldn't find a shot. The Nets couldn't find a shot to save their lives.
Or is it D'Angelo Russell?
D'Angelo Russell, yes, thank you. D'Angelo Russell. Other than that, I mean, shit. It's been relatively outside of the draft, really. It's been kind of good. Philly's not doing so bad when it comes to sports right now. We're not in the process years.
No.
The Phils aren't terrible. They're in first place right now in the NL East. It's the Eagles are looking good. The Phillies are looking good. The Sixers are a playoff team. The Phillies really doing well as a sports city as a whole.
Yeah.
No, we're not where Boston was 15 years ago, where like every major sport is pulling in the championship every other year. We're not there. But we are also not where, like, I don't know, what's the shitty city, like New York.
Or Cleveland.
No, New York. New York. What does New York have? The Yankees suck. The Mets suck. The Jets suck. The Giants suck. The Rangers suck. The Islanders suck.
Mets suck. Jets suck. Yankees suck.
Yep, pretty much. There's nothing to look forward to in New York sports right now.
Well, maybe
the Bills.
No.
The Bills, which are the only team that play in New York, have a better outlook going into the season than the Giants or the Jets do.
Those are the Sabres.
The Sabres, who I forget are a team every once in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's Philly's doing all right. So what's going on in Boston? I see that you've got a game going on right now.
Yeah, the Celtics are putting it down in Milwaukee right now. I am surprised by this because I'll tell you right now, I checked in a little bit on the Celtics, but I didn't try. I tried not to get too excited for this series against Milwaukee because, well, I mean, yeah, the Celtics swept the Pacers, but Victor Oladipo didn't play. And so it was a lot easier for Kyrie to be the man, quote marks. He played really well in the series, but again, like, I would like to have seen Victor Oladipo out there, but that's the hand of the drift.
You want to beat the best the other team has.
Yeah, and so now they're going up against the team that had the best record in the Eastern Conference in Milwaukee, and this could be a smoke and mirrors mirage too. Like, Milwaukee's going to get themselves right here. They swept Detroit, but is that even a small, But, I mean, Giannis and company do not look good. They're down 20 with about 5.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's not a good look at all.
They're up 20 on the road. And so, I mean, maybe this won't be a 5 to 6 game series like I thought. Maybe the Celtics can pull this off. Or let's see what happens further in the series. I like, though, what Boston's doing in basketball. But what I'm really excited about, hockey.
Hockey, Bruins, still in it.
Oh, yes. Yes, they are. And now, for circumstances we will detail later in the show, are the odds-on favorites, according to Vegas right now, to take home the Stanley Cup, their second of the decade. Despite losing to the Columbus Blue Jackets last night in double overtime, which, by the time I got that far, I expected Columbus to pull it out because...
Let's talk about that during the hockey segment, because the Blue Jackets are a team that I find very interesting right now.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, and it was just, the long, like, Boston's a little tired. Columbus is not, for reasons we will detail later. The Red Sox suck.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're terrible.
I mean,
So when you meet Yankees fans, do you guys just kind of stare at each other now? Or how does it work? Because neither one of you can talk shit to each other.
No. I mean, Tampa Bay is talking shit to all of us, which nobody saw coming. I mean, it's bad.
The thing about baseball, though, is there's like a million games in a season.
Yeah.
So there's always a chance to turn it around.
Oh, definitely. And the Red Sox have been playing better of late. I disagree with the idea that management had to limit the starters' innings and in spring training and let the minor leaguers carry the load because of all the excess innings they put in the postseason.
I'm actually not mad at that. So if you're developing folks, that's a great time to do it.
Well, yeah, and I understand that. But at the same time, you've got to let the starters and the veterans get their reps in to build up their strength for the regular season.
So you think it's just a matter of reps for these guys?
I think, they'll turn it on probably in May, June.
How much? All right, so when's the last time Tom Brady really did OTAs or preseason? All right, that's how I'm looking at this.
Okay.
That's just how I see it. I think once you reach a certain
2016.
Status, once you reach a certain status as a veteran, those other developmental things you don't do because you have proven that when you keep yourself in shape and you keep yourself strong and you get a little older, so that extra wear and tear for reps that doesn't really help you at this point.
Well, but in the terms of baseball, it's like about watching innings. There's a lot more caution thrown in, especially. But another thing that I think is really affecting the Red Sox is contract extensions. We've seen how free agency plays out.
Yeah,
it doesn't play out as favorably for the players as it did in years past. And a lot of players got extensions this in spring training this year. Xander Bogaerts, Chris Sale, and Nathan Eovaldi come to mind. And then there are other guys like Rick Porcello who are worrying about whether or not they're going to be offered a contract extension or whatever because they want to play in Boston next year. And they're pressing, and they're making uncharacteristic mistakes like walking batters, like 6 batters in a game, like in one of his first starts.
Well, if you got players that are distracted about their contract situation, there's a way you take care of that is by talking to the player.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we're at the point in the season now where they can't talk about contracts.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, that's going to be something that has to be worked out after the season's over.
Unfortunately, okay.
And that's why I'm like kind of bummed about that because, by the same token, where's the money? Because, Mookie Betts is going to need a deal next year, too.
Well, the thing about baseball is it's on cap, so you just fucking spend all you want. The Red Sox are not short on money, neither the Yankees.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But that's pretty much what's going on in Boston. Hoping the Bruins can end that long championship drought.
Well, how long has it been? 2 years?
4 months.
Oh. Damn.
No. I'm talking about the city of
the
Boston.
City? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the Bruins and Celtics win, that's a natural grand slam.
I'm gonna be pretty pissed about that, to be honest.
I know.
Super pissed.
I know you will.
I can't think of a less.
I will not.
I cannot think of a less deserving fan base than Boston.
No, we are spoiled beyond belief.
Oh, terrible.
I know.
Just terrible.
Just terrible.
Just terrible.
Just plain terrible.
Like food poisoning, Taco Bell, terrible.
Oh.
Just terrible.
I mean, you know.
All right, so let's get into the draft, dude.
Oh my God.
So I had like a thing in my office where I was trying to figure out which team would fuck up the draft the most, right? I just knew the Raiders were going to do it, right? I just knew the Raiders were going to do it because they had so much draft capital. And
how could they not?
And Gruden had already, you know, they fired all of their scouts right before the draft. They fired all of them. They didn't trust the scouts that they had, so they fired. So I knew they were going to chuck all the work that those scouts had done on talent evaluation and just do some weird shit. And they did not disappoint. But they did not disappoint.
But then you get to a team like Arizona.
So everyone knew they were going to take that guy.
Oh yeah.
All right, so everybody knew because it was talked about like fucking immediately when Kingsbury was his name?
Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah, when he was signed as the coach, they knew that that's what they were going to do. It puts Rosen in a bad spot, but in all respect, Rosen handled it with about as much class as anybody could.
Oh yeah, and I salute him for handling it with the class that he did.
He did a great job.
I think it was unfair to him.
I think it's just what it is, and he does have a better chance to succeed in Miami than he would have in Arizona because Arizona sucks ass.
I mean, but like to put an O-line in front of him, he may not look as bad as he did.
He had 5 turnstiles, and he had to play Seattle and the Rams twice a year.
And not only that, the much improved 49ers.
There's no rookie that's going to succeed with that amount of pressure on them. From the snap.
I mean regardless of how tall they are, which you know.
But yeah, so let's talk about the damn Raiders real quick though, Kenny.
Yes.
Expound on how terrible the Raiders picks were.
Well, okay. So the Raiders held the number 4, number 24, and number 27 picks in the draft. All right, they had 3 first-rounders.
Right, one from Chicago, one from Dallas,
and their own, which was the number 4.
Right.
And they drafted a defensive tackle named Clelin Ferrell at number 4, who was
run stuffer.
He was a run stuffer.
He's a run stuffer in a passing league.
Right. And he's going to be a solid pro. Let's not sell him short. He was a late first round, early second round pick.
He's a run stuffer in a passing league
that
could have been had at 27.
Could have been had in the second round at number 36.
He's a run stuffer in a passing league. Let's just
I mean, like John Gruden and Mike Mayock are fucking stupid.
I'm surprised he didn't draft the fullback. To be honest.
Well, I mean, Josh Jacobs from Alabama to replace Marshawn Lynch. The safety they drafted with number 27 was seen as a decent pick. Okay, but I mean,
the Chicago pick, they traded Khalil Mack for a wide receiver.
Yeah. And if Clelin Ferrell does not perform to the level of Khalil Mack,
he's not.
He's going to get eaten alive by the fans in the black hole. And not only that, but just what kills me here is if Clelin Ferrell was their guy all along, they could have marketed that into another pick. They could have called the Giants. Those dumb fools. And said, "Hey, yo, Miami's been looking for a quarterback, and they want to jump you guys and draft your guy, and parlayed that into 2 more first-round picks." You know what I mean? They could have traded number 4 to the Giants for number 6 and 17, hypothetically. What I'm saying is they missed on a big opportunity to get more value out of that and fill more holes in their franchise.
So I think the biggest issue with teams that had multiple first-round picks was their prioritization and the players that they went for. Like the Giants taking Daniel fucking Jones, number 6 overall.
Wow. And
right?
Wowie. Wow.
So this is a guy that was going to be there in the second round because
he would have been there easily at number 17, despite what Dave Gettleman tells you on TV.
So you know what his stat line matches?
Peterman?
No, Peterman was terrible, but it's Hackenberg.
Christian Hackenberg.
Yeah, his college stat line matches Christian Hackenberg for the most part. He's essentially looked at as, at best, a Blake Bortles. At best. So the Giants with the rickety ass Eli Manning, spent the number 6 overall pick on what they hope to be Blake fucking Bortles. As an Eagles fan, this amuses me.
Oh, well, I'm laughing my ass off.
But I can't say that this was anything other than a terrible fucking pick.
I mean, we're laughing. Dwayne Haskins was laughing.
Dwayne Haskins laughed at this pick. Dwayne Haskins knows he should have gone to New York. But New York...
Best quarterback in the draft, and the Giants don't take him.
The Giants fucking pass on him. So you know what? This is great. I love this. This is the...
Yeah, I mean, like they've even come out and said that Daniel Jones is not going to start right away. He's going to sit for 3 years.
3 years. Oh, well, they did it with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was a projected top 10 pick out of Cal.
He could have been the number 1 pick.
In fact, that he wasn't the number 1 pick or a top 10 pick.
Do you know who the number 1 pick in that draft was, right?
Actually, who was it?
Alex Smith.
To be fair, Alex Smith was the shit in college.
He was pretty good.
He was the shit. I mean,
I hope he plays again.
I don't think it's going to happen, though.
I don't either.
I think that Colt McCoy's already gone for another surgery. Ugh. So let's talk about who did take Haskins, which was the Wash team. Which, I'm not going to lie, when Daniel Snyder when you make Daniel Snyder look draft savvy, you're fucking doing it wrong.
You are doing it very wrong.
When I look at the moves that they make and go, that's a pretty good move for them. And I look at the moves you make and go, I don't know what the fuck these guys are doing. You are doing all of this very wrong.
Yeah, no, because, I mean, there were a lot of people that were saying, why did Daniel Snyder insist on the taking... Ooh, I'm getting bleeped.
I think we let it ride now.
First one of the season.
Yeah,
anyway.
Maybe we'll let that ride.
like, everybody gets one, I guess. All right, yeah, so, like, there were a lot of people saying, what are they doing here? And apparently there was a lot of pressure on the coaching staff and the management staff
to move up and take Haskins?
To take Haskins at number 15.
Didn't have to.
But, I mean, what doesn't make sense to me about that is it could be the Jason Campbell situation all over again, where Jay Gruden is coaching for his job this year.
Yeah, so I totally see this is a smart pick.
Yeah.
Right, this is a smart pick. However, Snyder's going to still Snyder. So this is a Jason Campbell situation. Yeah. Now, if you don't remember Jason Campbell was drafted by Gibbs on Gibbs 2.0. He was a typical pocket passer with a cannon for an arm, right? He was a black quarterback who wasn't looked at as a black quarterback, which to me is amazing, which is great. Because he could scoot, but he wasn't brought in to be a mobile guy. He was brought in to be a gun, to be a slinger. So I'm good with that. I'm actually really, really good with that. Unfortunately, he got thrown in there, and then Gibbs hung it up, and then they went into their coaching carousel. So he went through basically a new system every year.
I feel sorry for that, man.
So he was constantly learning new systems, and he only had 1 year in the system, so he never got to reach his potential. His career was wasted in Washington.
Yeah.
And I see Haskins being in a similar situation. The Campbell pick was smart at the time. This Haskins pick is smart right now.
However,
if they
post 2 years,
if they fire Gruden within the next 2 years, it's a wasted pick because the kid won't have time to develop and into the system that he was drafted into. You know, it's like Lamar Jackson, right? You draft Lamar Jackson, and then you immediately change your coach to where they wanted him to be a pure pocket passer. And he's not developed for that right now.
No.
You have to develop him. But then they suck, right? So you bring in another coach the very next year to do some other weird shit to him. So he never gets a chance to grow into the system. I see that. I don't... All right, as an Eagles fan, of course I want this shit to happen. However, I don't think Haskins deserves it.
No.
I don't think Haskins deserves it. He seems like a cool dude. And it's whatever. But yeah, the Wash team definitely looks like the smarter team between them and the Giants. And that's a shame on the Giants.
Yeah, and another thing about Wash team that I need to bring up here, you know, they drafted Dwayne Haskins, but they also brought in Case Keenum, who can never get a fair shot anymore. He's down the bridge. This is his 4th straight year of being the bridge.
Well, let's be real. Case Keenum is not great. He's not.
He was good enough in Minnesota.
He was okay playing behind.
He was terrible in Denver last year.
And the number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah.
You got to remember what happened to him in Philly. We forget about 38 unanswered points.
Oh, yeah.
Some weird shit like that.
Oh,
yeah,
in Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, so...
And they were a miracle away from being eliminated
they really were a hit stick away from not even being in that game. So let's not pretend that Case Keenum had 1 solid year, but he is a journeyman. And that's fine. That's fine. He is a journeyman. He's not the guy that is going to take you to the promised land. He's the guy who won't cost you the trip, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? He's not a savior. He's simply not a liability, which is okay. You know,
Yeah.
that's fine. So don't expect too much from Case. Right now, he is a placeholder, but that was known when he signed. And really, what other moves do they have? You know how much cap money, how much cap space that Washington has tied into their quarterbacks right now that they can't even use?
Too much.
Like $20-something million with Alex Smith and Case Keenum, but Colt McCoy, who may not be ready come week 1. They've got some untold tens of millions of dollars that are totally inaccessible because those players are still on the roster and you can't get rid of them, right? Because they're hurt.
Yep.
Even if Smith retires, they're still on the hook for his salary for a certain amount of years.
5 years,
and
85
they
million.
gave up possibly the best slot corner in the game at the time to get Alex Smith before last year.
Mm-hmm.
They traded that guy, so they're in their bad shot. They're bad, but if Snyder can stick with Gruden, then it won't be as bad for Haskins. But I just don't see it working out. Not with the way the division is going right now, with Philly and Dallas becoming what they are.
Yep.
It's going to look really bad for both the Big Blue and for the Skins.
You kind of glossed over Arizona, but I kind of want to go in on them.
Go for it, dude. Do your thing with Arizona. Have at it, dude. This is what we are here for.
Oh,
embrace the dark side.
Like, okay, let's just face it right now. Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury, they're fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. And I think Keim is the dumber of the two for hiring Kingsbury at all. He's a failed college coach whose sole claim to fame was having a mediocre run at Texas Tech, coaching Patrick Mahomes. Before that, all anybody knew him for was Tom Brady's backup, and if you get outside of frickin' Tiverton, Rhode Island, you're not even going to know that.
To be fair, though, he was in the Starbucks at the same point in time as Sean McVay, which makes him eminently qualified with 4 personnel control.
Oh, right, yeah.
In this NFL.
Along with Zach Taylor and Matt LaFleur, right.
Right.
Yeah.
He did sleep at a Holiday Inn at one point.
Oh, it made him feel smart. Yeah, exactly.
He did sleep at Holiday Inn
and let's face it, he's gushing about Kyler Murray.
Who's a good quarterback?
He is a good quarterback. But how does that translate? I don't know that his game entirely translates to the NFL. And if he gets frustrated, who's to say he doesn't bolt to the MLB where he was a top 10 pick last season?
To be honest with you,
more money in baseball.
I think him going to football was foolish.
I think it was too. There's more money in baseball. Look at the contracts they're getting.
The contracts are insane, and the longevity is there.
It is. And I think that maybe Kyler Murray may reconsider that if things go awry in Arizona. And then, my prediction is this move is going to kill the careers of Kingsbury and Keim in short order. In 2 to 3 years, this will blow up in all their faces.
I'm okay with that because neither one of them should be in the positions that they're in.
Oh no, you're right. And what kills me about this is they drafted a quarterback last season, Josh Rosen, at the number 10 pick.
Yeah, and Rosen's a solid quarterback. He's probably was the most talented at coming out of that draft.
He's the most intelligent, the best pocket passer of the bunch.
Certainly, he's just drafted into.
He needed an O-line. He did. He really did. And he's probably going to have a better chance to win in Miami. But did you hear about that trade?
So how much did they get for him? A third rounder?
They got a second rounder and a fifth rounder next year. I'll let that soak in.
You guys can't see it, but I shook my head on that one because that was foolish.
Yeah. No, worse yet. They did not have that trade in place until after they drafted Kyler Murray.
Oh, I know. So they eliminated all their leverage with that pick.
Yeah, they did.
They could have had more had they traded him prior to the draft.
Exactly.
Because they had the number 1 overall pick. You can pretty much, at that point, you can say who you're drafting first.
Exactly.
Because who's going to jump you? No one can jump you unless you trade out of the position.
I mean, between Mike Mayock, John Gruden, Steve Keim, and Cliff Kingsbury, I'm having a hard time placing the Dumb and Dumber pet tag on.
Don't forget about Gettleman. He deserves a place at that kiddie table.
He does. You're right. Yeah.
He was terrible in Carolina. He's terrible now. Wasn't he in Cleveland?
And Shermer. So Gettleman and Shermer too. Yeah.
Poor Shermer. poor guy.
But I mean, it's like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, are you fucking kidding? This is embarrassing levels of incompetence.
But you know what?
Being demonstrated by the Arizona Cardinals, and they're all going to be right back here next year.
There are always several teams. First of all, drafts are a crapshoot. There's always several teams that do something that is so illogical you can't figure it out.
So
right? The
bafflingly
Eagles
stupid.
have done this in recent years. With
Mike Ditka is about the only person I can think of that was this dumb on draft day.
Oh, he was incredibly stupid.
Oh yeah, the Ricky Williams trade
in New Orleans. Yeah, he was dumb.
That is the only thing that can trump this in my mind.
Ricky Williams was a good running back, though. To be fair, and Donovan McNabb's getting booed on draft day was because he wasn't Ricky Williams. The Eagles wanted him too, so it's not pretend like.
Oh no! I'm not saying that Ricky Williams in and of himself was bad.
But the capital he gave up to get Ricky Williams.
Yes.
You know what? So talking to a few folks in the office about they were like, well, folks were pretty pissed about the Trubisky pick too, and I'm like, here's the difference between the Trubisky pick and Jones. Folks were not mad with the selection of Mitch Trubisky.
It was the capital.
It was
that was
the
given
capital
up.
that they gave up to jump one spot to get a guy nobody was checking for.
Right.
It's all right. Not a bad pick. The pick is not bad. What you did to get the pick was what was bad.
Oh, and John Lynch played him.
Oh, he took him to the cleaners.
Oh yeah.
But they actually took themselves to the cleaners, and John Lynch just was able to cash in the receipt. They were.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who was going to be the. He just didn't. He didn't say anything, and he let them just run the conversation, and they talked. They did it all themselves. So let's discuss where our respective teams are.
Yeah.
Post draft. So talk to me about the Pats. Where the Pats are after the draft. How are you feeling about the draft for your team?
I think the draft went very well for the Pats. But I always feel confident about the draft because I at this point it's in Bill we trust. Questioning Belichick's logic at this point after 6 Super Bowls is just one of those things where you're like, are you really that dumb?
He has had some success in drafting.
Yeah, I mean, but what surprised me the most about this year was that they took a wide receiver in the first round.
Interesting.
They have never drafted a receiver that high. He compares. A lot
Compares
of
to
people
Josh Gordon, doesn't he? Was it Josh Gordon he compares to?
It compares to like a Josh Gordon, almost an Anquan Bolden.
Oh, Bolden was a monster.
Yeah, a big receiver who can get separation in space.
Take the hit, hold on to the ball.
Yep. He's and he can get you those 50-50 balls.
Good.
He's tall, strong. The speed isn't quite there.
They're getting ready for a post-Brady life where the quarterback won't be as accurate.
Right.
Or actually for Brady now, because
he could drop off that proverbial cliff that Max Kellerman keeps saying he's going to.
He kind of has been. If you look at Tom Brady with the passes he's throwing, these are all short intermediate routes to guys that are essentially wide open.
Yeah, and to be fair, the Pats lost a lot in both free agency, like of their own guys leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, and then retirement of Rob Gronkowski, which you're never going to replace him. Sorry, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, you can only play his position after he's gone.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, but we also lost Trey Flowers to Detroit.
Yep, that's a good signing by Detroit for them.
Oh yeah, and Detroit, Tennessee, and Houston just basically wait. The Patriots interested? Grab him.
Yeah, well, I mean,
like they know, and they
Trey
were beating
Flowers is a good player. So
yeah, so the Patriots swung a trade with the Eagles to get Michael Bennett, which I figure he's got like 1-2 years left of productivity.
He's got more than that. Michael Bennett. That trade, and the Eagles fans had a very mixed reaction to that trade. You had the people who were still, oh, by the way, that case in Houston, they dropped that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If you go back into the archives of the show, you could hear all of us say that was a total fucking farce from the beginning, and that the DA was overcharging for the sake of getting reelected. And that's exactly what happened. There never was a case. Nope. Right? Remember the video that they had of this guy abusing the elderly handicapped woman working security at the Super Bowl, because that all makes sense?
Yeah, no, they don't.
The reason that the footage never came out because it doesn't exist. The sheriff crucifying this guy publicly before anything, them pushing the court date 2 or 3 times to the right. Yeah. These are all symptoms of a case that doesn't exist. And we knew that it didn't exist when that shit first fucking popped off. And to see them drop it, see them drag this guy through the mud publicly for 2 years before dropping the case is absolutely. And there's people who still feel like he did something, even though there is absolutely no evidence
to that effect.
Some of those folks are Eagles fans, unfortunately, because dumbassery, well, except for the Cowboys, knows no fandom.
No,
right? So
it's not mutually exclusive to one fan base.
It's not really. So.
Yeah, I mean, and not only that, I mean, it's like I'd be much more interested in actually seeing that footage than I am in the Bob Kraft footage. Thank you very much.
To be honest with you, that's a hell of a pickup by the Pats.
It is.
The Eagles fans that watched him play last year understand how productive he was.
He
did have a couple times where he blew his assignment, but for the most part, this guy was balling. He was upset with his playing time in his role at the very beginning. Injuries happened, and he got a lot more playing time, and as a result, he was very productive. He played through injuries, and to be honest with you, he wasn't a detriment in the locker room as much as people would like.
No, he was top 10 in quarterback hurries, pressures, and hits.
He was an absolute monster. He was he was torturing people's quarterbacks, which is, like I said, which is cool. So the Pats are getting a hell of a pass rusher.
He's going to fill in the Trey Flowers role.
What the Eagles were going to do is pay him.
No,
so for the Eagles to trade him and get something out of it was smart. and for the Pats to trade for him and then pay him, right?
Yeah.
Because they re-upped his contract.
Yeah, 2 years.
Isn't a bad move either. So everyone's happy. That's
not only that, they got a 7th rounder out of the deal too.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I think that all parties are going to be happy. People are wondering what he's going to be like in the locker room in New England, and I think he'll be fine. His brother played there, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, it's not like he doesn't know what kind of culture he's walking
No,
into.
it's not a big deal. I think that it'll be interesting to see if he can hold up from injury, because he did play through some significant injuries with his foot. And he does wear some super slutty pads.
Yeah.
So he's a minimalist when it comes to his hardware, his equipment. So we're going to see how that plays out in New England, but I think that's a good move. So really, like I said, for everyone involved, that's a smart move. The Eagles didn't have the cap space to sign him. He's older. Eagles are trying to get younger, and Pats are looking to replace some talent they lost, and that's one way to do it.
Yeah, and I also like the Joejuan Williams pick from. He's being compared to a Richard Sherman. They traded up 11 spots in the 2nd round to get him. I love the Chase Winovich pick, if only because of the value they got out of it.
You sure it's not his hair?
I mean, gentlemen do prefer blondes.
That guy looks like Clay Matthews if he fell off a fucking cliff.
He's just a little too excited.
He's a rather unattractive man, but he does have nice hair.
He does. They filled O-line with high-value picks, and they drafted a quarterback in the 4th round.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was a little weird. It caused a little bit of immediate media speculation as to whether he was the heir apparent to Tom Brady.
No, you don't pick the heir apparent to Tom Brady in the 4th round.
No, you don't. You're right. Exactly.
Because Tom Brady shouldn't have been with Tom Brady.
But, all the Boston talking heads are trying to say that now. He's the heir apparent, and I don't think he's going to be good.
Boston sports media is probably like the worst.
They're a fire of all the dumpsters.
They are they're pretty bad.
Yeah. But, I mean, But I think the Pats are going to be all right this season. And I think they're going to be right back where they normally are.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when you consider the fact that now the AFC East has 3 2018 top 10 quarterbacks. Between
Darnold and Allen and now Rosen.
Josh Rosen, yeah. And then the old man, Tom Brady. So, I think that the rest of the AFC East did close the gap a little bit, but not enough to supplant the Pats. So, I feel pretty good.
Until Belichick and Brady hanging up, the Pats are going to find a way. Until the other teams stabilize and make some and have the time to make enough moves to build a team, like Buffalo's doing. Buffalo, I think, did a great job of closing the gap between themselves and the Pats.
Yeah.
The Jets had a fairly smart draft.
Yeah, they did.
The Dolphins. They've got a cultural issue, but they're not short on talent,
and they are in transition on their culture.
They are. So
Florey's trying to instill a winning culture.
However, it is tough sledding when you have the Pats in your division.
It is.
So it's what it is. So
how about the Eagles?
So the Eagles, man, look. Eagles did not go into this draft with a lot of draft capital, so it was important that the Eagles maximize their picks more so than in previous years, right? Because you only had like 5 picks. You lost a 3rd rounder with a Golden Tate trade, right? We coughed up a 3rd rounder to Detroit to get Golden Tate, who was okay, but he was essentially a half-game rental, and that was.
That's another mystifying move the Giants made.
Well, no, it's not, because for Eli and his now pathetic arm, you need someone like Golden Tate who can run those intermediate routes and break tackles and make gains, especially with the departure of Odell Beckham Jr. So that's not a bad move. However, I wouldn't have done it. Because, but Golden Tate's not bad.
Nah.
Not a bad guy. Not a bad player. He's chasing the money at this point. Because there's no reason to be in New York. They're going to be shit.
They're going to be terrible.
So the Eagles came out and drafted, who was it? Dillard. Andre Dillard in the 1st round at 22.
22.
They moved up. They moved up 3 spots on top of the Texans to take that pick because they figured the Texans were going to take him, and they saw they had a shot. So that's the more draft capital they lose.
Yeah.
So now they're down to 4 because they had to trade up to get him, which I think is a smart move because he is rated as the highest. He's the highest rated pass protector.
Yeah.
In this year's draft. So I think that is a splendid move considering the state of Jason Peters. Right. Jason Peters is, to me, without a doubt, a Hall of Famer.
Right.
All right. He's a champion. He's done all the things that you can ask a gentleman to do. He's played through significant injury. He's come back from blown Achilles after blown Achilles, from blown knee, and he's performed at a high level on a pretty good offensive line.
I have been impressed
against some of the best pass rushers the game has to offer in their primes. and he's 37 now. So to me, that's a smart pick, right? You can't count on Jordan Mailata becoming a thing anytime soon because this is his second season ever playing football. Mm-hmm. Right? And while the kid's a physical specimen, there's a lot of nuance to the game that he needs to learn, and this gives him time to develop. You can't count on Vaitai being the guy because he's not a specialist as a left tackle. He's an all-around offensive lineman. You can't count on Isaac Seumalo because he's an interior lineman. So the Eagles had to draft this guy, and I think it's an absolutely splendid pick for the Eagles in their first round. Now the second round is where things get a bit interesting. Everyone chomping at the bit for the Eagles to draft either a safety or a running back high in the draft. And the safeties, Eagles have not had good luck drafting safeties high since Brian Dawkins, who was a Hall of Famer. Brian Dawkins, who was a second-round pick out of Clemson at the time. So when they went and drafted Miles Sanders out of Penn State, who played behind Saquon Barkley for a few years, it was all right, cool. That's a little bit of catharsis there. It's a cathartic pick because now the Eagles can say we have a stud in our backfield that can join that particular committee. And it was something that the Eagles were lacking last year. If you looked at their backfield, their offensive backfield, a lot of those guys were super late round picks or free agents. Clement was, I want to say, undrafted. Smallwood was like a fifth rounder. Josh Adams was a undrafted guy they picked up. There weren't really any. Ajayi was, I want to say, a fourth rounder. He dropped out of the first when he was drafted, but he's running on bad legs. So the Eagles didn't really have a stable backfield. So for them to spend the pick on Miles Sanders, I think that's a pretty prudent pick. And then they went out and got J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who I didn't even know was a thing. And I look at his guy's his dimensions, right? His size. This guy's like 6'3", 225. He's essentially Alshon Jeffrey. So he comes from a basketball family out of Spain and Portugal. The kid's fucking huge, and then he's out of Stanford. Stanford does pretty good with their talent.
Andrew Luck and Richard Sherman, anyone?
I'd say those are good guys. So they brought him in because he's the most effective receiver in the red zone in the draft. Of course, he was projected to be a first rounder on some draft boards. The Eagles were able to get him in the second round. A lot of Eagles fans were like, "Why are we picking up a guy who runs a 4.43 40 that basically is another Alshon Jeffrey?" Because why the fuck not? Right? This guy, you can throw the ball in his direction. He's got an 80-inch fucking wingspan.
80-inch
80-inch wingspan.
That's 6'8", folks.
He's a basketball player.
He's baller.
Like Antonio Gates, so plan on hearing that several times throughout the season whenever he plays. You know this guy played basketball, right? Oh, yeah, this is a guy here who played
basketball. That guy.
He is from a basketball family. Oh, fucking hate that guy. Either way, if you look at his tape, his highlights out of Stanford, the guy basically, there was nothing the cornerback could do. It really was. The quarterback throw the ball. He would box out. He would turn around and box out the corner, jump and bring it down. So he's not a flashy big game, big game kind of guy.
Right.
But he's exactly what you want in the red zone. However, he is big enough that 180-pound corner, if he doesn't hit his legs, he's going to slough this guy off and just run it in. So I think that's a very, very smart pick. I think the first three picks for the Eagles were exceptional. The Eagles did not have a third-round pick. And then we go into the fourth round where we picked up Sharif Miller out of Penn State, who's from Philly.
Right.
Grew up in Philly, an Eagles fan, played high school football in Philly, went to Penn State, and now he's been drafted by his childhood team, the Eagles, which is, interesting because they asked him in the combine who he wanted to be drafted by, and he said the Eagles. So this guy literally is living out his dream. If you're a kid playing football and you want to play for the hometown team, and then you go through your whole college career, the hometown team brings you in, and you're going to get playing time. I mean, that's the best case scenario for anybody. That's amazing. I would love to have been in his position at that age, where I get to play for the Eagles. I would love it. So that's always good. And then we picked up a couple of scrubs, and I'm not too worried about it. We picked up a quarterback. What the fuck's a Clayton Thornton?
Clayton Thorson? Yeah, I don't know why you would take a project quarterback unless he's just a camp body.
I think you know what. So we could have taken him later because he's not overly impressive at a Northwestern either.
Yeah,
he's a big guy. To me he's like the great value Daniel Jones.
Great value Daniel Jones.
Right. And he was picked where Daniel Jones ultimately should have been picked at.
Yeah, way down there.
Yeah. So.
I don't understand why. Yeah.
But look, this is the draft. So he may become a thing, but he's the fourth quarterback on the roster. The Eagles signed what was the AAF?
Oh yeah,
right,
the Alliance of America. That's what happened while we were gone too.
Right,
they folded.
When they folded, a lot of their talent, which was not bad for the players, so to speak, the ones that were high profile, because they were snatched up by teams. Yeah. So the Eagles picked up one of the quarterbacks from the AAF.
And the ones that weren't picked up from the AAF will have a chance to impress everybody in the XFL next year.
Good, which is good. Yeah. Because I think those guys got shafted. They really did.
Yeah, they did.
They did. So I am not mad with this draft at all. I think this draft went about as well as it could, given the limited resources. And I really want to say that with the exception of Clayton, that they maximized. Hell, they flipped their 7th round pick for a 4th rounder that the Colts had picked up a few years back.
Right.
Who's got like a certain amount of he's played in almost all the games. He may not have started, but so he's a depth player. So I think the Eagles did very well out of this draft. I think the Eagles did very well.
Yep.
We took best player available. We didn't draft for need, which is important.
Right.
And so we have a stocked cupboard full of offensive weapons and a line that should be keeping Wentz upright for most of the season.
Kind of like what you did with that D-line a few years back.
Yeah, people really pissed that we didn't take more defensive linemen or defensive players in this draft.
A draft heavy in defensive linemen and defensive tackles, too.
Yeah, but people forget the Eagles brought back Vinny Curry.
Yeah.
The Eagles have the guys that they've been developing to play defensive line. Folks are like, well, the Eagles lack speed in the receiving corps. We just brought back Deshaun Jackson. It honestly doesn't get much faster than him.
Right.
At 32, there's still no one in defensive secondary that can keep up with this guy.
Nope.
So the Eagles have depth. They have speed. They have a lot of toys. And of course, I say this every year. The big thing is who survives training camp and preseason, because that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Who survives? Because if your top guy fucking gets cholera or some shit in training camp and is worthless for the rest of the season.
Or the Teddy Bridgewater situation.
Where he plants his leg and his knee decides it's going to go on a trip all by itself and leave the rest of his leg there and everybody's puking because it's so grotesque. Which is, that kind of shit happens.
Yeah.
So I don't hope for it for anyone except for one guy. Nick motherfucking Bosa.
I got 2 guys on that because I hope Tyreek Hill.
But he's not a rookie.
Yeah, no, he's not a rookie. He's just a piece of shit.
So, all right, let's talk about Tyreek Hill. Because this is what we're talking about, right? This is a guy. Here's a guy who had charges for child abuse. He allegedly broke the arm of his 3-year-old son.
Yeah.
Broke his fucking arm, right? But he walked because they knew that abuse happened, but they couldn't pin it on him. And then he calls this lady his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, whoever, baby mama, and threatens the living shit out of her.
Right.
Which now, guess what? Reopened the case.
Yep.
Now the case is reopened because he just incriminated his fucking self. The Chiefs have...
You need to be terrified of him.
The Chiefs have basically suspended him indefinitely.
As they should.
As one does. And then, so we're waiting for what the league's going to do on this.
Yeah.
The Chiefs aren't going to cut him. The Chiefs are going to wait for this guy.
Well, no, because they know John Dorsey will snatch his ass up.
Right. So I think for the sake of...
In Cleveland.
For fully punishing this guy, they're going to hold on to him until they suspend. I don't think the Chiefs want this guy to play. I think they're going to hold on to him.
I think they...
And hammer his... Because what he did was... all right. So Kareem Hunt kicking a woman while she's down is despicable. Absolutely despicable and inexcusable. And the only reason the reaction was what it was is because it was on tape.
Right.
This guy breaking the arm of a 3-year-old child and then terrorizing that child's mother.
And also after beating her rap for domestic abuse because he choked her while she was pregnant.
Yeah, in college.
Yeah.
So I don't... the Chiefs are gonna be one of the few teams that make an example out of a guy like this, and that's why he hasn't been cut yet.
They're gonna Old Yeller his ass.
They're gonna Old Yeller
He's
this
my
motherfucker.
dog, Paul.
They're gonna put him down, and I think that's a smart move, and I think
And
that's
good.
a high
And
character move by an organization, which I don't expect.
And I praise the Chiefs for it.
I got to give him that. So but it was kind of fucked up for the Chiefs because now they have to draft for the talent that they've lost over the last year. Right? They had explosive playmakers who, while they were pieces of shit off the field, they were explosive playmakers. They were key parts of their offense. So now they have draft needs that they didn't have prior.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks.
And they traded their draft capital away to get Frank Clark after letting D Ford go to San Francisco.
But you know what sucks even more than having to draft new players because your old players were pieces of shit? Maintaining those players that are pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So Andy Reid can sleep well at night knowing he did the right thing.
And let's just hope, honestly, for the sake of all things entertaining, that the Madden curse does not hit Patrick Mahomes.
Nah, I don't think it's gonna.
Maybe it'll hit the Honey Badger.
Ugh. Well, the Honey Badger's never been healthy.
Yeah, no.
He really hasn't. So that's really it with football. You know, Gianni's not on today, and neither is Brandon, so we can't really talk about Chicago.
Yeah.
I can tell you what, Chicago has without a doubt won that Khalil Mack trade.
Yes, they have.
They absolutely won the Khalil Mack trade, as we anticipated, because we knew Gruden was going to do Gruden shit. So I'm really surprised he didn't take a fullback in the first round. That's some John Gruden
I
shit.
mean, yeah, like a punter or a kicker in the second.
Ooh, Tampa Bay.
No.
Tampa took one in the first.
No.
When was
No. Gruden took Janikowski
to be fair,
in the first round.
Seabass is a monster though. Like if you were to take a kicker,
first
hold on.
rounder?
If you were to take a kicker in the first round, it would be Janikowski. Like if you had to, it'd be Janikowski. Of course, you don't have to though, and that's the thing. I understand what you're saying. You don't have to take a kicker in the first round.
Man, that always makes me laugh. You know what else makes me laugh?
What?
The President's Cup curse in hockey.
So Tampa was really good this year, right?
They tied a record
Like,
for
weren't they
regular season wins by an NHL team.
Weren't they like a juggernaut of a team?
62 wins
Like that's a lot
in
of
an
wins.
82 game schedule.
That's like an insane record. What happened to that team, by the way? They made it to the postseason. What happened?
They did not win a postseason game.
What? So you mean to tell me that they got swept by the 8 seed?
That the last team to qualify, the Columbus Blue Jackets, swept them out of the first round.
Wow. So you mean to tell me that the President's Cup winner and the owner of the best season in God knows how many years was swept in the first round of the playoffs?
I mean, God, that was perplexing. And that, folks, is why Vegas has the best odds to win the cup on the Bruins and why I'm nervous.
Vegas is out.
No, I'm saying like the booking.
Oh, okay.
Betting.
I'm like, no, Vegas is
the
out.
Golden Knights are out too.
They're out. But no, see, this is why I'm intrigued by the Blue Jackets. Because if the Blue Jackets were able to get their shit together and sweep a team like Tampa Bay, that doesn't bode well for the Bruins. That's a resilient team who's playing on house money right now.
Well, yeah, exactly. And they had over a week off before the start of the series.
So they're healed up, they're rested, and you know what?
The Boston played a full 7-game series and turned around 2 days later, and they got to start another one. They eke one out in overtime, but then last night they lose in double overtime.
This could be a sweat, man. This not sweet, but this could be an upset.
I think
the
it could
Blue
be an
Jackets
upset.
could very well upset the Bruins. They've already destroyed the team that was supposed to fucking be the chosen ones.
Yeah.
I don't mean like, oh, they win 7 games. No, they swept them fuckers in 4, and it wasn't even close.
No.
It wasn't even close.
No, it was like once they got game 1, they were in Tampa's head, and then
I haven't.
I mean, this is a weird postseason, though, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
This is the first time in over a decade that none of the division winners advanced out of the first round. None of them.
I'm good with it.
And neither cup finalists advanced to the second round for the first time since 2012, when the Bruins and the Canucks did not.
Cool. Yeah, because both the Golden Knights and
The Caps
got eliminated in the first round.
Yep.
So hockey, the postseason for hockey is pretty entertaining because it's unpredictable.
Yeah, and I mean, we've got Tampa's shocking elimination. We've got the Blue Jackets being the darlings. Let's not forget what wins you a championship in hockey: the hot goalie.
Yeah.
And Dallas right now has the hot goalie.
If you've got a goalie who no one can score on, I mean,
look at the Bruins in 2011 with Tim Thomas, that jerk.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm all for it. My Flyers aren't playing. However, I have been tracking it a little bit, and I was astounded to see Tampa get swept. I was astounded to see the Golden Knights lose, and I was astounded to see the Caps lose the way they did.
Well, not only that, the Penguins got swept.
And the Penguins getting swept. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. And Carolina eliminating the Caps. Yeah. You know what Carolina's, how some teams take on an identity in their postseason runs.
Yeah.
Like the Carolina has taken to calling themselves the Jerks.
I'm good with that. As a Philadelphia.
Well, I mean, I thought
totally
they were jerks for 22 years, so whatever.
No, I'm good with that. I know you have a thing about them.
Yeah. We're not going to rehash it.
That's not on the players. That's on the ownership.
Yep.
But
screw those jerks.
You ready to slide on to basketball?
A little basketball, yeah. Let's look at the rest of the field here.
So,
question 2.
I didn't know how to feel about the series between the Sixers and the Raptors until last night when I got to watch Game 1 and I got to watch Kawhi Leonard prove why he's probably the best two-way player in the game right now.
Oh, my God.
He absolutely dominated the Sixers on both ends of the floor. He had blocks. He elevated the rest of that roster, and I haven't seen anything like that in a while from somebody not named LeBron James. It was goddamn ridiculous. The Sixers were out of sorts, as they have been in Toronto for most of the franchise's history.
Yep.
They don't play well in Toronto. But the frustration of Simmons and Embiid, that was interesting because no Sixer took a good shot. And I think that unless they figure out how to get better shots out of that team, this is going to be a quick series for Toronto. If I'm judging by just Game 1, which would be foolish, the Sixers are wildly outclassed by Toronto. And that's just what it is. Now, Milwaukee, having taken the L they just took to Boston
at home
in Milwaukee, is interesting as well.
Yeah. I'm a little perplexed by this one.
Sometimes teams just get hot and can't miss.
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure, this isn't a case of one team is hot and the other team has had a lot of time off and gotten rusty. Both these teams have had a week off.
Yeah, so I think sometimes you just get hot, and that's what it is getting hot in the playoffs. But it was uncharacteristic to lose at home by that much.
Yeah, they wound up losing by 22.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that just went final about 30 minutes ago.
So, I think what's going to matter the most, though, is what happens in Game 2. If they come out in Game 2 and take another punch in the mouth, either one of these teams...
And then go back to Boston down 2-0, game over.
Or go back to Philly 0-2.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad. So the Sixers need to fucking figure some shit out. If the Sixers win Game 2, then they take home court advantage.
Yeah.
If the Bucks take Game 2,
they take back home court advantage.
They can. They'd have to win one in Boston, but they can. It puts them back, but they can't afford to lose Game 2. You can't lose 2 in a row at this point.
Oh yeah.
And every one of these teams, the playoffs, these are like Boston's a seasoned team.
Yeah,
they're a seasoned team. They've got
they were the preseason pick to win the East.
They were,
and I mean. That begs the question: is the East as close as we think it is?
We will see in a couple days. Is what I'll say. We'll know in a couple days.
Call you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right.
Because the West, the Clippers were giving the Warriors all they could handle. Actually, Lou Williams was giving the Warriors all they could handle. They had no answer for him for most of the series until Kevin Durant just said, "I'm gonna do Kevin Durant shit, score 50 points." And that
PG County, bitch.
And that put away the series. And now they're projecting him to go to the Knicks.
Oh, for God's sake!
So, which means that he's done with championships and he's just trying to get the money.
Yeah, hey, go get that Supermax, bud.
You don't go to the Knicks because you want to win championships.
No. Sorry. We had to apologize to one of our most supportive listeners on that one.
Bolton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not apologizing. He fucking knows what's up. You don't go to New York in any capacity to win championships.
Well, I mean,
the Yankees, but not this year.
Less unsettled, maybe.
We're not
1970 or Willis Reed.
The 70s. The Knicks haven't won a championship since the 70s.
No, they haven't.
They got close a couple times with Ewing.
Oh, but then John Starks.
John Starks is gonna Stark, man. So
hey, by the way,
I hear that if you listen in Madison Square Garden when there's no one else is in there, you can still hear his shots clanging off the rim.
Out of all the Starks to die tonight on Game of Thrones, wouldn't the Knicks fans want John Starks to die?
Do they? Nice time. I like that.
I like it too.
Pretty good.
Hey, by the way, we're talking Game of Thrones and the Night King.
We're not going to spoil anything, and
no.
I better not hear any Avenger spoilers.
Oh, we're not going to. But Damon Lillard, cold-blooded or just really damn good?
No,
did you see that shot?
No. He's cold-blooded. Here's I'll tell you why. The wave after the fact. That's cold-blooded.
Oh, yeah.
That was ice cold. The whole goodbye.
Just the shot, the wave, the whole sequence.
Here's also why. Because Paul George came out and said, that's a bad shot. And you know what? Statistically, he's correct. But Damian Lillard came back and said, that was bad defense.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
should have gotten in my face.
Shots fired.
Well, and not only that, but just it looked like such a passive-aggressive, maybe we should play for overtime, but nah, fuck you, I'm going to eliminate you now.
No, he took the shot. Dude, he had been money from the logo.
Yeah.
He was like 4 for 6 from the logo. Why
8
wouldn't
for
you,
12 from beyond
Why wouldn't you take
feet.
that shot? Take the fucking shot.
He shot his shot.
You know what? If that was Steph Curry, nobody would fucking question it. And technically, he's better than Steph Curry.
But
at that
not
range.
only that, Dame was off balance.
Dame, it was a step back three-pointer from the logo.
From the logo.
Like I said, had that been Steph Curry, no one would think twice about it. But it wasn't. It was Dame Lillard, and folks were like, oh my God. But let's be real, this is what he does.
And like not only that, but Dame Lillard, I can get behind a guy like him and just support him because he's like, I don't believe in teams comprised of superstars.
Well, he's been in Portland his whole career, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been the man. So I applaud them. The cuntiest team in the world managed to win their series against the Jazz.
And now they're playing the Warriors.
You know...
So can the Warriors fend them off?
Yes. Yes, I can. Yes, they can. Here's why. Because this team will actually make them play.
Yeah.
I think the Warriors at this point in their existence are kind of like going through the motions of...
They play up and down to the level of their competition, maybe?
Yes, they do. They've been so absolutely unstoppable for the last several years that it's hard to get up for all those games. The thing about this season,
we're here.
they literally cruised through the season. They didn't give a shit about the number one seed at all.
No.
So they just cruised through the season, knowing they were going to be in the postseason. They figured they'd turn it on then, and then the Clippers pushed them. But I think the Rockets, they're going to go after the Rockets. One, because they have to, because you have a guy shooting 30 times, shooting 30 free throws a game. They kind of have to put up points. It's going to really come down to what Durant does.
Yep.
Come down to what Durant does, and if they can make how inefficient they can make the cuntiest man on earth, the beer, James Harden.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I cannot tune into another Sports Center segment and hear them try and justify why Harden is better than insert NBA legend.
He's really not. He gets away with so much.
No. I mean, he relies on 3-pointers to drive his scoring average up.
Yep.
You know, it's
a very... I don't want to go into it because it literally makes me angry every time I talk about how the Rockets play basketball. It makes me super angry.
Okay.
But if there is ever a guy who's probably going to win MVP who doesn't deserve it, it's James Harden.
All right. So
I mean, other than Steve Nash.
We'll move on from that. Today, notwithstanding, will Kyrie become the man in the postseason?
Negative.
Celtics are more hype than hope, then.
No, I just don't think Kyrie's the man.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
So you can think the Celtics are good and not think that Kyrie is the man. Kyrie's proven over and over again that he's, as much as he wants to be the man, he's not willing to do things the man has to do.
Exactly.
He's not mature. He's never been mature enough. I think he's still too... He's a dude player. Fuck him.
All right, and now I'm going to put you on the spot. Who have you got going the distance in the NBA?
Taking the whole thing?
Taking the whole thing.
Unfortunately, it's the fucking Warriors again. Until that team breaks up, they're the current champions, right?
They are.
They're still in the hunt, right?
Yep.
Until someone else knocks them off, that's what it is. They still have that same core team from last year.
Yeah.
And the Rockets I just don't think they have the heart to beat Chris. First of all, I'm waiting for Chris Paul's hamstrings to turn to shatter again, which should happen around Game 2 of the series. Because normally when it happens, when do you need him the most? Unavailable. Which is vintage Chris Paul. So I think that's going to happen, which is going to change the dynamic.
Okay.
And the Warriors end up taking it. It's probably going to go 7, but the Warriors will ultimately take it. They're going to have to take 2 games, or they're going to take a game in Houston.
So how would you think that somebody like Toronto would match up with Golden State?
I think Toronto doesn't match up well with Golden State for the most part, is they don't have an answer for all the people who can score from Golden State. Right? Kawhi Leonard, you have one of Kawhi Leonard. You don't have the defensive stoppers that can lock down Durant and Curry and chase Klay Thompson off the line. You don't have it. You just simply don't. So,
and you have to figure by the time the finals roll around, Thompson and Curry will be healthy enough to go.
Yes. So I think really right now, under the current composition of the Warriors, that they are the team to beat. And I don't think that anyone out of the East can do it because
No.
they simply it will be them having a hot game while the Warriors going cold.
Yeah.
Because they got to remember, one of the things the Warriors were about was that run. That
Yeah.
30-point run where they just snuff out your hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
The Clippers proved resilient because they could withstand that run. But the Clippers are that team, once again, playing on house money.
Right.
And they had Lou Williams, who apparently no one had an answer for, but he's sitting on the couch now. So I don't see anyone else having anything close to that. And I'm not even a huge Warriors fan. I like Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Because I think that for someone who's athletically not imposing, he done a really great job to make himself into what he is.
Yeah.
All with bad eyes. He just got contacts this year.
Right?
This guy's been looking at the rim and squinting, but like, yeah, I guess that's the rim, and just chucking it and fucking splashing him.
Chuck it and pray. Yeah.
Now you can hate Draymond Green. It's easy to hate him. You can hate Kevin Durant,
You can hate Draymond Green if you want to get kicked in the dick.
right in the dick.
Steven Adams, can you attest?
Yeah. But
Yes!
he's easy to hate. It's easy to shit on Durant for being a ring chaser.
Yeah.
This early in his career, snake. He's a snake.
Super snack.
But really, Steph Curry is probably like, he's the underdog who, while he did come from a basketball family, he's been immersed in the game. He's not 6'8", 250 pounds of LeBron James. He's not this tall guy who's athlete. He's not going to jump over you and dunk on you or run through you. He's a little dude.
And can we stop and appreciate the fact this is like the first time in over a decade that we are not talking about LeBron James in the playoffs.
I love that.
I told you to appreciate it.
I love it. I absolutely love that. That's amazing for me.
I mean, let's face it. 2006 maybe?
It was
2005?
a long time ago. I think rookie LeBron didn't make it. I think the first year or two he didn't make it until they built the team around him in Cleveland.
Yeah. And this is the first time since then.
Yeah, it is.
This will be the first time in 9 years the finals will not feature LeBron, which is crazy. So, yeah, and I feel like at the end of the day, I'm going to probably have to take the Warriors as well, because how can you sit here and justify my Boston Celtics going in there and winning? They're going to be lucky to get past Milwaukee, let alone out of the East. That's a pipe dream. Milwaukee, from what they're showing me so far, I don't know that they can take down the Golden State Warriors. Houston relies too much on the three. And, Toronto, as Dirt alluded to, as you alluded to, my friend, it's, Jesus. They're too much over-reliant on Kawhi Leonard. Kyle Lowry is a disappointment. Like Pascal Siakam, I mean, he played great in the game against the Sixers. But, yeah, I don't see them taking down the Warriors. So, in my opinion, yes, the Warriors are the team to beat. And I, for one, am not looking forward to that. I really would like to see the Celtics raise banner 18, as much as I know you don't want to see that.
Nope, don't want to see it. Fuck the Celtics.
I know.
Name another Boston team.
Yeah, what about the New England Revolution?
Impartial, but they're New England, right?
Yeah.
So
Major
by
League
default,
Soccer.
the answer is fuck them too. Name another one. I'm on fire.
Straight fire.
Straight fire. The Providence Steamers.
Steamroller.
Fuck them too.
They don't exist anymore, but fuck them.
Super fuck them.
Hartford Whalers.
Yeah, fuck them too. Fuck 'em.
Yeah. All right.
So, all right, you know what time it is, man.
Goddamn you and your fucking. All right.
So we have it's time for the shitty beer of the week.
It's not even a beer.
Cue the music. Greetings, I'm Dirk Diggler of the Philadelphia Diglays.
And I'm Kenneth Dorksworth of the Connecticut Dorksworths.
And we are here to give you Dirk Diggler's shitty game time beer of the week. Oh, look at it. You can hear the thing snapping. Oh, you know what this is. Hold on. We have some nice, classy Guinness glasses here that we're going to enjoy this out of, because I only have one bottle ready to go. Oh,
All I need is Billy D. Williams.
Oh.
Welcome to the coolest side of the pillow, Peter.
Let me pour a glass for myself because I don't have a paper bag.
What are we drinking, sir?
Well, I'll tell you what we're drinking. We're drinking Colt 45. 40 ounce, one each. So, I just poured myself a glass, a Kennedy glass, of this delectable malt liquor here. So this is one of the stars of the party. That the 40s for 40. This is one of the 40s from 40 for 40, which I have a case and a half of now. So if anybody wants a 40, just come on by. I got you.
So say nine's in Old English for the next couple of shows.
You know what? Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're going to kill me, ain't you?
Well, we're going to give it a go. So let's try this shit. Hold on.
That aftertaste, though.
This isn't bad.
Yeah.
No, this is really not disagreeable at all. It's actually, if I didn't know what it was, like if I didn't know that was literally the devil, I would be all about this. Like, all right, so it's for me, it's cleaner than you would think. It does have a somewhat syrupy aftertaste on the palate, right? So you can tell that the sugar that went into this isn't like the greatest sugar, but it's a fucking bottle of malt liquor. You didn't go into this expecting quality. So. But it's not bad, right? So it's not offensive. It's not skunk beer.
Nah.
It's pretty good as long as it's cold.
God, if it's warm. Oh.
If you really want to fuck somebody up, put the shit in the high-end glass and give it to them and tell them it's a fucking microbrew and watch how they fucking turn themselves inside out to justify how awesome it is.
Oh, wow.
This is a craft beer, a new one you probably haven't had before. And give them some 40 and see what they do. Is it, Kenny, how do you feel about this one? Because I'll tell you my verdict on whether or not it's a game time beer after Kenny.
It is, it's subtle. It sneaks up on you. You can taste the sweetness in it.
Yeah.
And then you can taste the alcohol.
It's there.
Yeah. Slapping you really hard across the mouth.
What's the percentage in this? Well, it's like 8.5%, right? It doesn't even say on the bottle. I'm pretty sure. Oh, well, no. Nope, does not say on the bottle. But it's malt liquor, so it's got to be about 8.5%.
I hate you.
So it's just a game time beer. I'm going to say...
only if you're not driving.
Boy. Well, if you... Would I drink this during a game? I have actually drank this during a game. If you are new to this whole drinking thing, I do not recommend it because it would absolutely you will regret everything you do. But if you are someone who knows how to handle their alcohol, knows how to stop,
Yeah.
right, which is a big thing, knows that, hey, maybe I'm done,
Right.
then yeah, this is fine, dude. I mean, it's like I said, we've had worse beers.
Yeah, we have.
This is
House.
still substantially better than Ice House Edge. This
Oh
is
my
way better
God.
than Ice House. So I'm gonna say that if somebody were to offer me some Colt 45 during a game, I would have a Colt 45. Would I have several Colt 45s?
No
Fuck no
way.
I wouldn't survive. However, I would have one. Kenny, how are you feeling about this as being a game time beer?
As long as I'm only having one.
So if you're having a 40, this is a suitable 40 for your sporting event for you to
This
watch.
40 will make you feel sporty.
This 40 will make you feel sporty. Definitely will. Don't try dancing and or talking to the opposite sex. It's going to go terribly for you. So,
All right.
all right. So let's bring out the nastiest, shittiest,
Meanest.
meanest. Fuck it. You know what's up. Once
Yeah.
again, cue the goddamn music.
Holy super shitty indefensible hot takes, Diggler. What are we going to do now?
Johnny, Dork, to the take mobile. Okay, hold on. I guess I just gotta get this started. Hold on. It takes a minute. It's kind of old. All right,
Really?
all right. I think. All right. I think we're good. I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go. All right. Get that take mobile fired up. So, shitty take of the week for me. Keeping in tradition of discussing the NFL draft, I'm going to say that Maher and Gettleman come out and publicly state that the reason they passed on Haskins was because he's black.
Wow.
Right. So some of you are going to go, what? And you're going to, oh, fucking everything's about race. All right, here you go. Other than Geno Smith, what was the last black quarterback they started in New York during a regular season game?
Do I hear crickets?
What's the last black quarterback they fucking drafted? So this is why this is a thing. Because the best quarterbacks on the board were two black dudes. One went number 1 overall to the Cardinals. One got passed up by a team who absolutely needs a quarterback but has never drafted one that was black.
Right.
So I'm going to say that what makes this take shitty is to have them come out and publicly state it. Because Gettleman was the one who couldn't stand Cam Newton. Gettleman's never been shy about his preference for certain things. And Mara, who's really becoming a much quieter version of Jerry Jones, I just think that for them to actually say it would make the take shitty. We know that's what they're doing. At least I feel that's what they're doing.
I mean, that's why Kaepernick doesn't have a job.
It is, because he's fucking better than any of the guys they drafted yesterday, or this weekend. Yeah. But it is what it is. So my shitty take is that they will come out and publicly state that's why, which would be interesting, which is what I'm all about. So, Dork, what's your shitty take?
Well, you know me. I'm all over Dumb and Dumber.
Dumber.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona and Oakland.
Oh man,
they made themselves look stupid this week.
To be fair, they've been doing that for years.
But I mean, really went out of their way to do it this weekend.
Gonna do anything to 100%.
So they decide they're gonna trade the nicknames Desert Dumpster Fire Dumbasses. I twisted my own tongue there. And the Bay Area Boneheads. After the embarrassing incompetence they both displayed this past weekend.
So what happens when they go to Vegas, though? Does that change? Because they're going to still be dumb when they do that.
Oh, yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah. Hey, listeners, we need a nickname for the Vegas Raiders that highlights their stupidity like the Bay Area Boneheads here does.
Yeah.
We're looking for your input. Send us your suggestions.
Yeah, and it can't be a desert one because Arizona's got that one.
Yeah. Send your suggestions to dirtdiggler2823@gmail.com or hit us on our Facebook, Dirt Diggler Shitty Sports Show. Just seriously, put it in just like that, just so you can spell the whole word out. Dirt Digglers *S Shitty with 2 T's Sports Show, and then you'll be at our page. And you get to see some of the content we steal from other places. You also get to see some of our takes on certain things, especially now that we're back in the studio, in the booth, so to speak. We're going to be posting more content to the actual Facebook group. But join us, follow us, share us out. Of course, we're on YouTube, right?
I mean, the best I can do right now for the Vegas Raiders is the slot-pulling slapheads.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I expect better from our listeners, though, because they have not been drinking. Or maybe they have. I don't know. I'm not judging. Say you're at work, having yourself a nice cold 45, listening to the show.
Work?
Hey, look, I don't judge.
I know you don't judge.
Whatever you got to do to make it through the day without stabbing somebody, I'm all for it. At least I'm mostly for it. I'm okay with it. How about that?
All right.
I'm okay with it. But yeah, so share us out. Look, we're on YouTube. Once again, Dirt Diggler Shitty Sports Show. We're on Mixcloud. Dirt Diggler Shitty Sports Show. We don't do SoundCloud anymore because it fucking sucks. I don't know anyone who listens to fucking Stitcher, but
what the hell is that?
It's another podcast site that I was posting to religiously the first season and a half, and then I stopped because it was like no listings coming in on it. So, but yeah, we're also on Twitter.
Yep.
So hit us up on Twitter, Dirt Diggler Shitty Sports Show, or was it Dirt Diggler SSS? I think is what it is. Yeah, send us your most passionate, poorly written hate mail on whether or not you agree or disagree with our takes on the draft, or if we slandered your team. I expect Raiders fans, you can't send crayon writing in email. So Raiders fans, I'm gonna need you to go find the San Francisco fan across the bay and have him show you how to use a computer.
What about the Cardinals fans that we ripped the new one? Wait, those exist?
They do, but they're too old to really know how to.
I mean, that's a franchise that hasn't cared about winning
they
since
still
the
refer
40s.
to the Facebook and the Google. So
yeah.
Weren't they in Chicago at one point?
Yeah.
I remember when they were the Chicago
I remember
Cardinals.
when they were the St. Louis Cardinals.
I do too.
Yeah. So
because we're in our 40s and we're both old.
Fuck the Bidwells. Anyway, so
fuck them.
Fuck the Bidwells.
Fuck Nick Bosa.
Oh, super fuck Nick Bosa.
And you know what? While we're at it, fuck people who are posting spoilers for Endgame.
Dude, you deserve the worst.
The worst.
So apparently this guy got his shit kicked out of him.
At a theater in Hong Kong.
Yes, is it Hong Kong? The guy comes out and immediately starts spouting spoilers while people are waiting to go see the movie, and they wasted no time in kicking his ass, which I think is the only appropriate response.
Oh yeah, no, he earned
something so disrespectful. I mean, fuck you, man.
He earned himself a passionate ass whooping.
He got one. He signed up, and they delivered a one-way
Amazon overnight.
Yeah, it was immediate, boom, instant delivery, a one-way all expenses paid ass whooping, courtesy of everyone in line. And I think that's exactly
one-way trip to Pound Town.
It's not how that works out most times. I don't think
They got his face pounded in.
Oh, okay, because that's not how I've heard that used in the past.
Oh, am I using it wrong?
I would say, I'm not going to say it was wrong. It's certainly not what I'm familiar with.
The nomenclature may be juxtaposed. All right.
Yes. I also, so there's some differences between New England slang and the rest of the fucking country. But
That's a bang a Yui, kid.
I use that term. Go ahead, bang a you, flip a bitch. Another one, flip a bitch. However, I've never referred to the little drink bottles as nips.
Or the liquor store as the packy.
I was stationed up in Rhode Island when I was in Boost, and we certainly called it the package store, the packy.
The packy. We're gonna go out to the packy, kid.
Yes, because in California you can buy everything at the supermarket. I mean, there are liquor stores, but there's no restriction like in North Carolina you can buy beer everywhere, to include the gas station, but you can't buy hard liquor outside of a liquor store. In Maryland, you can't buy any alcohol outside of a liquor store. And in New England, you can only buy hard liquor out of a liquor store too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so fortified wines and hard liquor. So either way, it causes for some interesting linguistic differences.
Dialect.
Yeah, some different dialects there, buddy.
Yeah, kid.
So that's it. That's
Season 4 is underway.
Season 4 is officially under fucking way.
Yep.
We are here to entertain you with our shitty takes. And like I said, we absolutely love it when we get responses from listeners. So send us an email. Like I said, dirtdiggler2823@gmail.com.
I know a lot of people were looking forward to this. Oh, but some of them might be disappointed we didn't go in on your teams. Don't worry, we'll get to you.
We'll get to you.
Andre, don't worry. We'll get to the Bills.
Oh, well, I mean, not as quickly as the Patriots will, but still. The Bills are terrible.
Don't the Eagles play the Bills this year too?
Maybe. Shady McCoy posted a bunch of some fucking Infinity War spoilers.
What a dick.
No, he is a terrible human. Look, he's a great running back, shitty human being. You can be both. You can be both.
Yeah.
So Shady McCoy's a piece of shit. I'm cool with that, though, because he doesn't play in the Eagles.
Yeah, so one more thing before we go. How do you feel about the Eagles' schedule this year?
It's being rated as somewhat easy, but I don't really see it as that. I mean,
don't know that I see the Patriots' schedule as being as easy as they think
we get to play Seattle and Philly for the first time in forever. So I'm excited to see how Seattle, because playing Seattle in Seattle is hard because they built their stadium to channel noise into the field, and they still lost to Kansas City. They were so fucking pissed about that.
Yep.
You fucking tech dweebs. Anyway, so I'm interested to see how it's going to work out. Like, I don't get too excited about the schedule until camp and everything's done. Okay. I don't know who's going to be alive.
True.
So that's how I play that. After training camp and preseason's done and see who's standing, then I'll know whether or not our schedule is easy. Because all it takes is one person to go down. You know, one player goes down in another team, and their chances to go from Super Bowl fucking contenders to dumpster fire. Just like that.
Yeah, but I'll say this right now, listeners. You all should circle Week 11.
What happened Week 11, Kenny?
Well, I believe that Tom Brady and the Patriots make a little trip to the city of brotherly love.
Should be interesting. I would keep an eye on the crowd. It should be very interesting because Boston travels well and Philadelphia is not really welcoming. I mean, we share,
the Vikings fans will tell you.
We share. Look. If I wing a beer at you, full open beer, that's just my way of sharing. I'm really enthusiastic about it.
Welcome to my city.
I'm not trying to hurt you. Have a beer. It just so happens that sidearm did at fucking 50 miles an hour. Bring your catcher's mitt. It's not my fault. You're not prepared. I'm sorry.
Well, but Boston fans will be prepared, kid.
Yeah, Boston fans are pretty vile. So we're gonna see how it goes.
Who can go lower?
Actually, Boston fans are much more prone to being fucking absolutely inexplicably terrible than the Eagles fans.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, we may puke on your daughter on purpose, but I mean, we're not going to call her the N-word. I mean,
okay.
I mean, McNabb, yeah, but those guys are from Jersey.
And on that note,
yeah. So halfway through a 40, we decided to be really, really, really funny. So yeah. All right, guys. So once again, that's it. That's it for the show, man. Kenny, it's been real.
It has been fun.
And it has indeed been real fun. So
don't spoil Endgame.
Don't spoil Endgame. Be a fucking respectable human being. Keep that shit to yourself. Dirt Diggler and
The Dork.
Out.